Live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm streaming to you from Central Europe. I hope everybody is enjoying their weekend so far, is staying healthy, strong, and productive, and finding some time to enjoy life. Good on you for dedicating time for your studies as well. Your hard work will earn you sweet fruits. Now, today we are looking at speaking part 3, and we are going to focus on what is needed to give band 9 answers in the speaking section. Hi Komal, hi Kalaljeep, hi Subashirat, hi Ruby, hi Gursharn, Hat Patel, Ruby, nice to see many of our regular students. Nick Hill, Janil, good to see our members in the class. Students, please use English in the chat. You are in an English class, so when you're using English, focus on English, stay in English, train your mind to think in English. It's a very important skill to separate languages and not mix them and confuse them. It will benefit you in life. All right, this lesson is presented to you by Aehelpcom. For academic English help, please check us out there. And for general IELTS, visit us at IELTShelp.com. On both of our websites, we have lots and lots of materials to help you. And I'll show you an absolutely free service where you can practice your speaking with other IELTS students for free on our website. So I'll darken up the screen a little bit. You'll see me as a silhouette. It's because our websites are a bit brighter. So this is our academic website here with the blue background. And you can click this big red button to join the premium package. The general IELTS website, same layout with the green background. You can click that red button. And then once you join, you have a My Student account that you can log into. And after you log into your My Student account, you have lots of resources. So you have a computer-based practice exams. You have 6 of them. We're adding 4 more. You have a fully online course. You have over 100 lesson videos. You have workbooks, audio CDs, additional services. And then off to the right here, you have writing and you have speaking. And in the speaking, you have what's called student partner speaking. And in the student partner speaking, if you click on that, you can find speaking partners that you can practice with for absolutely free. So right now we can see that Fatma is in here waiting for someone to video or audio chat with her. I believe it's a female name, Fatma. So there's topics. You can choose questions for objects, people, places. Those are based on speaking part 2, but of course the full section there, okay? All right, so make sure to use that, okay? It's absolutely free for everyone, and it's a great way to find other people who are practicing for the IELTS and have intermediate or higher level English, okay? All right, so go there and use that. It's free. Okay, I'm going to brighten up our day here, and that's on the websites, along with lots of other goodies. And we'll get back to point. If you have questions at any time, just send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com, okay, and I'll answer your questions. So, Shub Shirat, if you did not understand what I said, go and send me an email. All right. Here we go, everyone. So, we have this class today, the next live class. Usually, our classes start on Wednesdays. Next week, it's the same. This time, I will have a class on Wednesday at 15 o'clock Central European time, which will be speaking part 1. Right now, we're going to focus on speaking part 3. And when you're speaking, one of the first points that you want to focus on is you always want to give an answer, an explanation, and an example, and you want to use the question. The best way to learn is through practice and examples. So we're going to do that now. This is speaking, so make sure not just to write in the chat, but also speak. And of course, repeat. So repeat what I say and copy my intonation. Okay, here we go. So the IELTS examiner will conduct the interview with you. It will take about 12 to 15 minutes. Part 1 and Part 2 will take about the first 8-9 minutes. And then the examiner will say, that is the end of Part 2. Please pass back the card, the note paper, the pencil. And now we will continue with Part 3. For Part 3, I'm going to ask you some more questions related to the topic of Part 2. Let's talk about buildings. In your opinion, why do people like to build taller and taller buildings? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Of course, here you have to give an explanation because it's a why question. Okay? You have to use good, clear communication. Carolina says, from my point of view, people like challenges. I mean, most of the time, engineers and architects create new building designs, and they have in mind that the result will be the best. Like these days, the Khalifa is the tallest building in the world. That's a beautiful answer, Carolina. Yeah. Maybe get the word tallest or highest or skyscraper in the sentence somewhere, Carolina. So these days, the Burj Khalifa is the tallest skyscraper in the world, right? I see the world tallest is in there. Okay, Amanjad says, well, according to me, building tall buildings shows high status. It indicates that people are wealthy because building skyscrapers costs millions of dollars. Yeah, Amanjad, put some quantitative language in there. Don't overcomplicate your leading expression, Amanjad. So, well, according to my perspective, it's a little bit wordy. According to me, or from my perspective. Okay, from my perspective. All right. Hassan says, I believe that people like to build higher buildings because of ostentatious lifestyle, and at some point, some people intend to think that building taller buildings refers to prestige and superiority, right, Hassan? Prestige or superiority, they're not one or the other. It's one and the other. So prestige and superiority. Okay. Amanjat, just one time. Don't spam it, okay? Don't copy, paste, and hammer it into the chat. Otherwise, I'll ignore it, okay? Ferdov says, from my view, individuals adore to build higher and higher structures because there is enough supply and demand for them, and many people love to reside in downtown areas with limited space, which demand buildings that are 50 stories or more, like the Trump Towers in Vancouver. Very good, Ferdovs. I added a little bit to it, a little bit of quantitative language just to give it that extra detail and pizzazz. Pizzazz is good. And you are on the right track, okay? So give it some color. Aditya says, due to increase in population, shortage of land has led to higher buildings, especially in urban areas where buildings can get to 100 stories or more, such as the core areas of Tokyo, New York, and Beijing. Right, Aditya? Very good. Get into those examples, okay? Now you're on the roll. There we go. Okay, so there are numerous reasons that contractors and developers strive to build higher and higher structures around the world. These include finances, prestige, and desire. What I mean is that urban space is limited So high-rise condos and residences in skyscrapers are worth a lot of money. In addition, people admire living on the 100th floor of a building overlooking the rest of the city. Let's stop there. So here we go. Repeat after me. In your opinion, why do people like to build taller and taller buildings? There are numerous reasons that contractors and developers strive to build higher and higher structures around the world. These include finances, prestige, and desire. What I mean is that urban space is limited, so high-rise condos and residences in skyscrapers are worth a lot of money. In addition, people admire living on the 100th floor of a building overlooking the rest of the city. Okay, so that's fluency, answer, explanation, and example. And yes, I am pushing you to be a better you and to speak faster and with higher level vocabulary. So if you learn new words, copy them down. If it's a little bit fast, don't worry about it. This is being recorded so you can go back and practice again and again. We've got lots more questions, so if I've missed reading yours, I will read it the next time. Okay. All right. Here we go with the next question. What do you feel is important to include when building a good quality home? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. So what do you feel is important to include when building a good quality home? Visualize it. You don't have to answer right away. You can think about it. You can say, okay, well, that's an important question. I haven't built my own home yet, so I haven't given it much thought. However, I suppose, okay. Hassan says, well, I think having a high quality home needs to take into consideration key elements like, first, the orientation of the home for the sun and wind, having enough green area, and well-designed spaces. Very good, Hassan. A couple of slight corrections, but overall quite nice. Ois says, what do you mean in this question if why building a quality house tends to be a house because it becomes more independent and healthy building? Perhaps, Ois, the examiner, you can ask the examiner a question during the speaking, but they cannot give you an explanation, okay? This is not an ESL exam, it's an English proficiency exam, and the examiners have some very strict instructions. If you ask them, like, what do you mean by this question, or can you explain it? What the examiner will do is exactly this. I will repeat the question. What do you feel is important to include when building a good quality home? And you should be able to interpret and answer it. Whatever you think it means, answer it. Okay, if you've got it correct, you'll get a good mark. If you're way off topic, you won't, unfortunately. That's the reality. Okay. All right. Seni says, the most important for building a house is to measure that the building provides safety features and comfortability for family members, such as a smoke detector, water hydrants, and an alarm. Okay, Seni, sure, that works. Why not, right? For many people, safety is absolutely key. Sure. Very good. Anne says, I think the most important element of a good house is the direction, as it should build the house facing sunlight and get the most wind to have a prettier and healthier house. My uncle redesigned his house. Okay, Nikham, I see that you keep going there. Good idea. Interesting how many of you feel that taking into consideration the direction of the sun is very important. Yeah. So it should be south facing, the windows, or east facing. So you get a lot of bright light if you're in the north hemisphere, right? Okay, Neha says, well, when individuals have a good quality home, they feel over the moon because their modern houses have prefabricated materials available. Neha, you're off topic there. Okay. All right. Rajveer says, in my opinion, security and ventilation are the two most important consideration when building a quality home. People should place a fire escape and have enough windows to get sunlight and fresh air. Very good, Rajveer. Nicely done. Rushab says, I suppose a home is where we live and rest ourselves after a long, hectic day at work, so it should be peaceful, spacious, and full of positive vibes and lovely essentials like beds, sofas, and TVs. Rushab, that works. It's original. I can tell it's your own style of diction. It's visual. I like it. It's good. Okay. Verma Coding says, I think it's important that the home satisfies our needs of having a better life and not to harm the environment. Like today, we have a lot of chemical components which are used during construction. Okay, so environmental awareness during the construction of the home. Sure. Abhishek says, in my opinion, the most significant items to include in condos or apartments, such as high standard of materials, well equipped with the latest gadgets, and safety for people planning or designing the building to be eco-friendly. Very good, Abhishek. I like the answer. Can you give me an example? Raunak Sharma says, well, there are numerous factors that would contribute towards a high-quality home. I would list them out, like the conservative use of daylight, well-arranged space, safety features, and ventilation. Very nice, Raunak. I like it. Good job. Nick Hill says, well, I believe that having a high-quality home requires a unique style, and it should be spacious with different facilities that include safety, and it should be bright. Yeah. Okay, so in my opinion, a quality home should use good building materials like steel, concrete, and glass for apartments. And it should be spacious with high ceilings and big windows to let in lots of light. It is no wonder that such homes usually are pricier than others. All right. Here we go. So nice natural diction and flow. Let's keep moving. Think about answers, explanations, examples, and using visual language. Okay? So give examples, give visual language to what you're saying. Here we go. What do you feel is important to include when building a good quality home? In my opinion, a quality home should use good building materials like steel, concrete, and glass for apartments. And it should be spacious with high ceilings and big windows to let in lots of light. It is no wonder that such homes are usually pricier than others. And I stop there because if I keep talking about price, then I'm going off topic. And the examiner is going to interrupt me and say, okay, let's just keep going now. And here we go with the next question. And I'm very curious what some of you will answer for this one. If you could build your dream house, what would it be? Okay, so try to be really visual here, clear. Okay, make sure that you're giving non-confusing information. All right. Amanjad says, well, my dream house includes a 3-story building with 5 bedrooms along with a beautiful kitchen. Moreover, it not only includes a big swimming pool with a gym, but also an eco-friendly park along with a garage. Sounds good. An says, given the chance to live in my dream home, I would like it to be extremely spacious with 4 bedrooms and east facing to have most sunlight most of the day. Enjoying the brightest house has always been my dream. I'm sure you'll get there one day, Un. You're very studious. You're regularly in these classes, and I bet that one day you will have your dream home. Okay. Moria says, I would love to live in a penthouse in a prime area of the city. I like an open floor plan with light adjustments according to my mood, modern bedrooms, bathrooms, and a gymnasium. Moria, very good. I'm sure you'll get there too. I love those kinds of downtown penthouse urban dwellings overlooking the city. Ferdovs says, given the chance to build my hopeful home, it would be located in Ireland near the European continent with magnificent views, which will be built using natural resources and taking energy from the wind. Interesting for Dobbs. Okay, I like it. You can't really give a wrong answer here because everybody's dream home is their own. But what's important is that your grammar makes sense and the visualization makes sense. Okay? All right. Don't spam Amanjot. Carolina says, if I had the chance to build my ideal house, it would be a 12-story building made of gold, would fly in the sky, would have a swimming pool full of champagne where all my friends could come over during trying to find the rest of it, Carolina, because I'm visualizing here. And I'm liking that home so far, but I can't see the rest. Okay. So would come over during their time off and enjoy life with me as we fly over the world enjoying life. Why not have a flying home with a pool filled with champagne? Now that's using your imagination. And believe it or not, the examiner would appreciate an original, imaginative, creative answer to that question, because there is no limits to this question. If you could build your dream house, what would it be? And you could say, well, it would be a palace like the Taj Mahal made of gold, filled with riches, and a swimming pool filled with champagne. Sure, why not? Go big. Okay. Hassan says, my dream home is inside a cave with all kinds of smart gadgets on a lovely island in the Swiss countryside, and it's a mobile home that I can take from place to place. Now we're getting into some really imaginative homes. Perfect. All right. Abhay says, I would love to build my own home because I'm an engineer, so I know what I would have in my dream house. Most importantly, it's quiet and spacious, and it would also have a swimming pool in the backyard. Very nice, Abhay. And you know what? I bet that you will get the chance one day to build that dream home. So I'm sure that you will. Just don't spam, only once, okay? Students, please only put your answers only once into the chat. All right, Anne Bowie says, if I could construct my dream house, I'd imagine that it would be a penthouse on the top floor of a high-rise building, slap bang in the city center, where I could get a panoramic view of the city and the stunning landscape. Also, this place would be yellow on the outside and white on the inside to create a bright and airy living space. Nicely done, yeah. Penthouse, downtown New York, Central Park. That would be quite amazing and worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. All right. Given the chance to build or purchase my dream home, it would be a 1-story, 5-bedroom home with massive vaulted ceilings, a games room, and a state-of-the-art kitchen. Of course, it would also have a theater room to enjoy movies and virtual reality games with friends and family. All right. So this is my concept of a dream home. I don't need it to be made of gold or flying in the sky. Just the things I need for my own hobbies and luxuries. Repeat after me. If you could build your dream house, what would it be? Given the chance to build or purchase my dream home, it would be a 1-story, 5-bedroom home with massive vaulted ceilings, a games room, and a state-of-the-art kitchen. Of course, it would also have a theater room to enjoy movies and virtual reality games with friends and family. I don't know about you, but I don't like spending time or energy running up and down stairs, so I just like to have a house that's all on one floor and has really high ceilings. I don't like the feeling of having the ceilings coming down on my head, but that's my preference. So having 5-meter ceilings, that would be my dream. Of course, very expensive to heat in the winter months when you're living in more northern places like I do. Okay. Can you describe it? We just did that. So let's go to the next question. Vaulted ceilings, Shub Sharat, means that the ceilings are very high. They have this kind of V shape. Okay. All right. Let's talk about beauty in nature. So here we're shifting gears a little bit. Here we go. What is the most beautiful natural place that you have visited? So this question is directed towards you. All right. Let's see what you come up with for this one. Okay, Panya Viren says, my dream house will be a 2-story building with a hall, a kitchen, and 4 bedrooms with a beautiful seaside view balcony, and in front of a beautiful garden. It would be built simple and smart. Panya, that's very nice for the previous question, and it sounds like a lovely home. Okay. Amanjad says, well, the most wonderful place that I have ever visited is Nestle Park. I just love this park because it not only includes a beautiful swimming pool, but also pots of flowers that are made from recycled materials. It sounds like an interesting place. Harshdeep says, in my opinion, Amsterdam and Nicobar with the mangrove forests are the most beautiful places. They seem quiet and calm, and the sunlight comes through the trees, gives an awesome feeling. Harshdeep, don't use the word you. Sorry, I said Amsterdam, but it's Andaman and Nicobar. I see that now. Correction. Don't use you. Gives you an awesome feeling. Gave me an awesome feeling. I felt great. It's about you. So when the question's about you, keep it to me, my, I. Okay. Moria says, one place that comes to mind is God's own country, Kerala. Beautiful houseboats, greenery, wildlife, waterfalls along the way of a long road drive. I would love to visit there again in the future. Interesting diction, Moria. It's good. I like it. Okay. A couple of slight grammar mistakes. Careful with that. All right. ABC says, I'd visited Kaas Plateau. It's full of different kinds of flowers. It's a wonderful World Heritage. When you go there, you will be amazed seeing the different colors of nature. Okay, so the Kaaz Plateau. It's a World Heritage site. I would love to check that out. I actually went to a World Heritage site just a few weeks ago, and it was absolutely amazing. Carolina says, ooh, we've got lots of answers. The most spectacular place that I've ever visited was Niagara Falls in Ontario, Canada last December. I was astonished by the beauty of tons of liters of water going over the falls every minute. Yeah, I believe it's millions of tons of water that go over that waterfall every minute. Yeah, it's a lot of water. Het Patel says India has diverse types of natural places which also help to relax people's minds. Although I visited multi-first places, the place's name is Mount Abu. Het Patel, it's taking you a really long time to get to the place that you like the most. Start with the place you like the most, okay? So the place that I visited, which is the most beautiful, is Mount Abu. I love the shape of this mountain. It's got a lot of greenery and forests and unique flowers. You can hear birds, or I can hear birds and animals, okay? So describe it, Het, instead of talking about off-topic concepts. Saeed says, it's such a shame that my lifestyle is not related to nature that much, but the most unforgettable experience in my entire life took place in Hormuz Island. What happened, Saeed? What is Hormuz Island? Tell me a little bit about it. Okay. Ayush says, there are so many beautiful natural places in the world that I have visited. The one that I remember most is Kowloon Park in Hong Kong. There are many plants and trees there which are not artificial. Okay, sounds interesting. Simran Singh says, let me think. Chandigarh Rose Garden, where I have visited, full with different colors, flowers, including red, white, and even black. This is very natural and filled with lots of birds. Okay. Ferdov says, the magnificent natural venue which I have found the most beautiful during my world tour is Phuket Island. I have been there 3 years ago, and I'm amazed with the natural woods and shores. Very nice. Okay. So, I must say I'm lucky because I live in Victoria, which is arguably one of the most beautiful places in the world. Of all of the amazing places I've had the pleasure to visit in my worldly travels, the one that is most sublime and aesthetically pleasing is Carmana Valley on the northern part of Vancouver Island, British Columbia. It is the oldest temperate rainforest in the world, and I felt like I was visiting ancient times during dinosaurs. Or as being surrounded by 100-meter trees that are 5 meters wide. All right. So here we go. This is my answer, and if anybody ever has the chance to visit my part of the world, Vancouver Island, definitely take that chance. It's an incredibly beautiful place. Here we go. Repeat after me. What is the most beautiful natural place that you have visited? Of all the amazing places I've had the pleasure to visit in my worldly travels, the one that is most sublime and aesthetically pleasing is Carmanah Valley on the northern part of Vancouver Island, British Columbia. It is the oldest temperate rainforest in the world, and I felt like I was visiting ancient times during dinosaurs, being surrounded by 100-meter trees that are 5 meters wide. They are truly magnificent. All right. Next question. Here we go. Moving along nicely. Amin, sublime means that it is extremely unique and beautiful. It's awe-striking. It's like, wow, it's sublime. It's incredible. Okay, here we go. What are the biggest dangers to the environment, and how can people help with these? Let's see what you come up with for this one. Sana says, in my opinion, usage of plastic bags is the most terrifying way to damage the environment. It not only harms life on land, but also aquatic beings. We can be more sensitive and use paper bags. Oh no, Sana, what will happen to the trees if we use paper bags? We should use reusable bags that we can use again and again, like textile bags. But I agree, paper is probably still better than plastic, as long as it's recycled. All right. Kawal says, a wonderful place that I visited is a park named Chi Devi Lal Park, which is full of precious herbs. One of them is Touch Me Not, a plant, and I love to touch it a number of times. Very interesting, Kawal. Thanks for sharing that. Okay. All right. Anju says, well, there are various threats to nature which are present today, and we as a community have a moral obligation towards finding solutions for these. Firstly, we can take a pledge to plant more trees so as to balance deforestation. Yeah, but Anju, what are the biggest dangers? You still haven't answered the question. It sounds like you have good English on, Anuj Garg. Anuj, it sounds like you have good English. Absolutely, from your writing, I can tell you do. However, you still won't get a high mark because you'll get a low score on your coherence. And coherence score is the most important score. You have to answer the question, what are the biggest dangers to the environment? Okay. One way to do this, to make sure that you answer correctly, is use a part of the question. And Pandya is doing that great. Pandya Viren says, the biggest dangers to the environment would be plastics, in my opinion, because plastic is very bad for the sea, the forests, and the animal world. Okay, so use part of the question. So I think that the greatest threats to the environment are human pollution of the land, water, and air. This is caused in numerous ways by deforestation, disposal of garbage in the oceans, and by driving gas-powered cars. The way to reduce this negative impact is by being aware of our behaviors and making better choices, like buying rechargeable batteries and taking our bikes to work when we do not need to go that far. All right. So, here we go. What are the biggest dangers to the environment and how can people help with these? So here, don't overcomplicate it. Polluting land, water, and air. Okay, think of the big ones, right? So I think that the greatest threats to the environment are human pollution of land, water, and air. This is caused in numerous ways by deforestation, disposal of garbage in the oceans, and by driving gas-powered cars. The way to reduce this negative impact is by being aware of our behaviors and making better choices, like buying rechargeable batteries and taking our bikes to work when we do not need to go that far. Yeah, I'm always amazed when people drive their car 1 kilometer to get to their office. All right. So that's it for this class, students. Lots of practice. I was really kind of focusing on practice and fluency in this class. And before we end the class, I want to just take 2 minutes, 3 minutes to answer any questions that you might have about the speaking section. I don't always give a chance to answer questions, so I want to give you a chance to ask me some questions that you might have about IELTS speaking, the speaking section. We are agents for British Council. We have a direct contact with British Council, so we have lots of discussions with British Council representatives, managers. So we have a lot of insight into how the IELTS works, and we're happy to help you. Okay, let us know. So what are your questions? Okay. Oju Mird says, what is the name of the app? The name of our app for academic IELTS is Academic IELTS Help. The name of our app for general IELTS is General IELTS Help. The app will link to the website, so you can use the website and the app together. Okay. Jyoti says, how do I improve my writing skills? Jyoti, there's a lot of ways. Number one is make sure to get feedback from professionals. You can do that on our website. So have someone who is an expert in writing explain to you what your mistakes are, okay? Aside from that, you have to make sure that you know what standard essays include. So you have to know, Jyoti, what is a persuasive essay, what is a standard expository essay. You have to know essay styles. A lot of information about essays for the IELTS online are false. They're template essays and they don't follow true essay guidelines, okay? So I always recommend students to research essay guidelines, standard essay guidelines, okay? Those will get you the highest marks. Verma Coding is asking, do we always give examples in part 3? Not always, Verma, but a lot, yeah? Like for 60% of the answers, you should be giving some kind of example. You don't say for example or for instance, but just give a real life context, okay? It makes communication much more powerful because humans communicate through visual and experiential information, and in a large way that those are examples, okay? So when we see, when we experience, that's when we truly understand. So for 60-70% of your answers, you should include some examples, okay? Seb is asking, are we going to save this stream? Yeah, we save our streams, our live streams. You can check it out on the channel later on. Absolutely. Okay. Harshdeep says, how can I do reading in less time? It's a big problem for me. Harshdeep, read lots of English every single day. So lots and lots and lots of practice to increase your reading fluency. Now, we do have some interesting reading exercises on our websites where we target reading fluency, we target reading comprehension, and then you put the two together to increase your efficiency with both fluency and comprehension. Okay, so separate fluency, separate comprehension, target each of those reading skills, and then put them together. It's a big lesson, so I can't get into it too much detail. I'd be here for a few hours, but that's the concept. Bobo Murad is asking, will there be connective questions to COVID in upcoming IELTS tests? I don't think so, Bobo Murad. So I don't think your IELTS examiner is going to ask you directly about COVID. IELTS likes to stay away from any political issues or topics like that because they're sensitive topics. Like imagine if somebody had someone in their family get sick with COVID and pass away or some other thing, and then they sit in the IELTS and somebody's asking them about, well, do you think COVID is dangerous? Yeah, my cousin died from it. So that would be horrible. So IELTS tries to avoid these politically, socially sensitive topics. So it's not likely. And I mean, if you mention COVID as an example in your writing or speaking, it's okay, but it is kind of overused these days, and you want to be unique in the IELTS. So don't put too much emphasis on these kinds of topics, okay? Said is asking, can we use an analogy like tourists are to nature what bees are to mankind? No, Said, you shouldn't. Okay, because analogies can be very awkward and confusing. Like your analogy, Said, is confusing for me. So you're saying that tourists are to nature what bees are to mankind. That doesn't make sense for me because I think what you're trying to say is that tourists are to nature like what oil is to water, maybe. So bees are to mankind. Bees aren't bad to mankind. We make honey from bees. We take wax from bees. In fact, we rely on bees for a lot of good things. So tourists are not that good for nature. Bees are good for mankind. It's an awkward analogy. Okay, I know you're thinking about bees stinging people, but it's not really there. Okay. If the tourism concept's placed in the correct strategy, it could be as beneficial as honey. Yeah, I don't get it, honestly. So careful with analogies. I would say no, don't use them. Okay. Het Patel is asking, sir, could you give me like any example of phrases which are common in speaking? There are lots of phrases that are common in speaking, but only use these phrases when they're needed. So you never want to force using these kinds of expressions, okay? They come across as awkward and they won't get you good scores. All right, students, be original. That's the most important. Be original. I'm going to stop there. If you have some more questions, you can always send them to Adrian@Aehelp.com. And of course, you can find a lot of answers on our websites at Aehelp.com and GLThelp.com. That's it for today. I will be back on Wednesday for another full week of live classes. Thank you so much for joining. Have a fantastic rest of your day. You're very welcome, Hassan. You're an awesome student. You're very studious. It's great to see that. Thank you, Ois. Bye, Het Patel. Bye, Raghav. I'm Adrian, and I'm signing out from Central Europe for now. I wish you all an amazing rest of your weekend and hope to see you next week. Bye.